I have a feeling Jeff Banks will never be invited back on GB News again, but finally, I do just wonder if the mainstream media are starting to realise there's a story about Meghan Markle and her past that has long not been told, and it's about time that you stop being in cahoots with those losers in Montecito and you start putting your investigations onto what went on. He dropped
questioning things. Again, every toxicity thing is result of them.
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour. The truth be told, what you just said is complete and utter garbage by the British media, the public and the royal family that they've all now abandoned.
Legally covering their backs. There's just too many unknowns. And then, of course, we have that the doctor that allegedly delivered Lily quit her practice 2 weeks after giving birth to Lily, or delivering Lily.
The questions have left the comment sections and arrived on mainstream television, attached to named sources. Jeff Banks said it out loud on GB News, not as rumour, but as assertion with a named claim attached. What sits underneath this story is a paper trail. Who engineered the access, who managed the introduction, and what the official biography chose to leave out. The silence that protected it for years has broken. What is underneath does not look like drama. It looks like a method, and methods leave evidence. Jeff Banks is not a royal insider. He is a fashion industry figure with decades of proximity to the circles Meghan Markle moved through before Harry. That proximity is precisely what makes his GB News statements matter, not as the verdict, but as the moment a named contemporary put the questions on record in a mainstream broadcast context. Here is what most coverage missed. Banks was not speculating. He was asserting. The distinction is the entire point. Jessica Reed-Krauss has been making a parallel claim for years. That evidence of Meghan's pre-Harry network exists and has not been published. Reed-Krauss does not write gossip. She files investigative work. Her claim is specific. The receipts are held, not lost. Banks spoke on camera. Reed-Krauss has filed the work. 2 named sources, 2 independent lines, both pointing at the same blank in the official biography. That blank is where this story begins. The meeting between Meghan Markle and Prince Harry has been described consistently and officially as a blind date. 2 people, a mutual friend, a restaurant, and an account that has never been officially revised. That account has a problem. Who arranged the mutual friend?
Bob, that the Soho House meeting between Meghan Markle and Prince Harry was quite clearly engineered. He finally reported on the question marks over the births of Prince Archie and Princess Lily. He heavily hinted what my friend Jessica Reed-Krauss of House and Habit on Substack has been reporting for some time, that Meghan Markle had a yacht girl past in the Mediterranean. And he even questioned Meghan's who are using them in such a mucked up manner. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say on the titles is that I think what Prince William is acutely aware of, and this has certainly been my reporting, is that look at what happened when you allowed to run rampant for so many years, chasing the cat.
Banks names Soho House and names the introduction as managed. What he does not name, and what the official account has never addressed, is the figure who held the keys to that room. Marcus Anderson is a Soho House consultant who was present at the beginning of Meghan's ascent into London's wealth-adjacent circles. Every other figure from that period has been cut. Anderson has not been cut, which is the only fact that matters here. That is not the residue of friendship. Kept positions are earned by ongoing function. A blind date does not come with a permanent consultant attached. The fairy tale needed a stage. Anderson built it. The question the official biography does not answer is who commissioned the construction. 3 things about Meghan Markle's official biography are now in simultaneous public dispute. Not 1, 3. The first is her birth year. Banks and others have claimed she was born 6 years earlier than the official record states. That single shift would reframe the struggling actress period. and raise direct questions about her reported pregnancies. The second is the school photograph defense. Samantha Markle, a family adversary with no incentive to protect Meghan, has produced photographs from 1986. In them, a 5-year-old child. Before the third item lands, consider what has already happened here.
Was safely delivered of a son, and she and her child are both doing well. So back to the tradition of putting out a framed bulletin or a gilded easel outside Buckingham Palace after royal births has been going on since 1837, so it's a cool tradition. And George, Charlotte, and Louis' easels listed the doctors' names with signatures, birth weight and time, and reference.
The royal family, she couldn't be part of all of that. He then, I think, was engineered into a meeting at Soho House with Meghan, and I think there was a lot of engineering went on there. I think she actually has not necessarily told the full truth about her age. I think she's actually a lot older than she actually purports to be. I think even her father and her sister have alluded to that. A lot of her contemporaries at school, which was 6 years more than she actually claims to be, which brings a question mark into the birth of Archie and Lilibet.
I feel you're almost stepping into some conspiracy.
A lot of question marks, and there's a whole period in her life where a lot of the photographs are beginning to surface of her life in the Mediterranean.
Samantha Markle is not a reliable narrator. She has not spent years defending Meghan. She has spent years attacking her. When a source with that motivation produces a defense, something has shifted. The noise has reached a level that even hostile witnesses cannot ignore. What is the third item? Not the age claim, but the fact that speculation has grown loud enough to pull Samantha Markle into the role of accidental defender. The paradox is not exoneration, it is a measure of the volume. When your most hostile witness starts defending you on a specific point, that point has become unmanageable, not evidence of innocence, evidence of how far the story has travelled. Before Soho House, there was a period the official biography treats as background noise, yacht trips, Mediterranean summers. A network of high-wealth connections accumulated during the years she was, officially, a struggling actress in Los Angeles. Photographs from this period exist. The network exists, and the people who were in those rooms are still alive. Here is what Reed Krause has maintained for years. She holds records of this period. The connections, the introductions, the access points that preceded Soho House and made it possible. That claim has not been published, and it has not been retracted.
You look at how Meghan is with Harry right now, how tenacious she is, and how she's trying to do any and everything she can around podcast, documentary, a book, interview with Oprah. Like, the girl has just went full-blown, like, doing it all since she came into this position with Harry. So it makes a lot of sense that Meghan had a previous life where she was doing the things that she's doing with Harry now that she was doing them before she knew Harry. Absolutely. I think it makes people wonder what is there, because there is definitely something there.
Absolutely. And we know that Jessica Reed Krause of House and Habit says that she has the receipts, and the Yacht Girl story is something that she has been working on now.
Being paid to do something very similar, with her title, because that's what she always wanted to do. And it looks so cheap, it looks desperate, and it just makes Meghan look like that yacht girl that she was, that we know she was. We all know Harry is very miserable right now. We just saw when they were in Jordan how he wanted nothing to do with Meghan. I think the signs are there that Harry wants to get back to his royal life. He needs to get back to what is familiar.
The Mediterranean period is not background, it is the foundation. Soho House did not discover Meghan Markle. It received her. Already positioned, already connected. The people who mattered in that room already knew her name. Marcus Anderson did not build something from nothing. The raw material arrived pre-assembled. What he provided was the final introduction, the one that led directly to Harry. Every step in the official chance meeting narrative sits on top of a prior step that narrative does not acknowledge. The struggling actress account requires the Mediterranean years to have been blank. They were not blank. and the people who filled them are not anonymous. Every royal birth in living memory has followed the same sequence: a bulletin, a doctor's signature, a gilded easel outside the Lindo wing. The signature is not ceremony. It is the institutional record confirming what happened and who attended. Archie's announcement carried no doctor signature. Lilibet's carried none either. George had 3 signatures. Charlotte had 3, Louis had 3, then 2 children and none.
Markle, and she is absolutely convinced. She's seen this going viral again, P. Dinah, and she is absolutely convinced that it is totally wrong and totally unfair to suggest that the Markle family have been involved in any type of bid to cover up the truth about Meghan's age. And it is just worth me taking you through some of what she's actually said on this, P. Dinah. Sam says she was 11 in 1975. They were still in Chicago at that point, P. Dinah. So she says, there's no way my sister could only be 10 years younger than me. Everyone can verify at the school where she started in pre-kindergarten in the mid-80s. So she was born in 81. We know when she was born, she was a baby in our house. I went through Doria as pregnancy with her. She watched her stomach move and all of that other stuff. There's several pictures of Meghan on stage with all of her classmates at their little red schoolhouse in 1986 when she was 5. Claims simply will not go away. And you know I've spoken about this before, but until now, no one in the mainstream media has been brave enough to go there. Well, that has just changed.
We have to remember that there are things that they couldn't even say about this, but I think now they're allowed to start, questioning things about Meghan that we all have some evidence of. I mean, what is she?
That departure from established practice is not a privacy preference. Royal birth announcements are institutional records, not press releases. Choosing to omit the signature is not opting out of publicity, it is opting out of the record. One of the doctors present at Lilibet's birth closed her practice weeks after the delivery. No statement accompanied the closure. The straightforward objection is that celebrity parents routinely protect their children from public scrutiny. No evidence of surrogacy has been produced, but that is not what the anomaly concerns. That objection deserves a direct answer. Here it is. The privacy argument does not explain the signature anomaly. George, Charlotte, and Louis were born to parents under far greater scrutiny. Every birth recorded in full, signatures attached. Privacy was not the variable that changed, institutional participation was. Meghan and Harry did not quietly protect their children. They selectively departed from a practice every previous royal parent had followed without complaint. That is the anomaly, not the secrecy, the selectivity. Harry is not a man at peace. Watch him on a solo trip, Ukraine, Australia, and then watch him stand next to Meghan at a joint appearance. The body registers what the mouth will not say.
That they felt like her posts on social media where she barely shows the kids is almost taunting the king, who doesn't know these children, and how unfair this is.
This case about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince.
Titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then
at the Jordan event, he disengages. Not from the room, from the performance of being in it. His grief is real. She died when he was 12 years old, in a tunnel in Paris. The institution that was supposed to hold him chose its own survival. A 12-year-old at a funeral. That wound is real, named here because it belongs in any honest account of what followed. It is not an excuse. What Harry chose to do with that grief is a separate matter, and it is not sympathetic. He weaponized it, turned the institution's failure into a commercial product, selling access to his pain, while the institution continued without him.
Are being raised in some type of freak show. It's like they are Michael Jackson's children who were paraded to the world but covered up in masks.
window.
Yeah, but then remember, he covered their identities and their faces in masks. So of course they're very likely to be messed up, growing up with such messed up parents.
A birth index, and per the website at the CaliforniaBirthIndex.org, the California Birth Index, or CABI, is a database that stores records of births in California, abstracts of birth certificates. Putting her full official name of Rachel Meghan Markle, you can see that the official record shows
Duchess of Sussex, no longer HRH.
The Australia trip was solo. Charles registered displeasure. A UK visit followed. Dates landing directly against William's schedule and Louis's birthday. These are not coincidences. They are the moves of a man who wants back in and cannot say so. The institution has not responded. It does not need to. YouGov. The late Queen at the top. Harry's numbers in continuous decline across every demographic measured. Spotify, cancelled. Netflix, not renewed. The book Advance delivered, not extended. Speaking fees dropped without announcement. Australia, a formal expression of displeasure from Charles. The UK visit dates landed against William's schedule and Louis's birthday. Neither clash was acknowledged publicly. Every item in this list points in the same direction. Meanwhile, there is a different story running in parallel. And it has been running quietly, without announcements, for years. Alistair Bruce has told one story about the Queen that has never made the front pages. At her funeral, the seat beside his husband was already assigned. She had seen to it personally, in advance, without being asked.
We have to come out and show the baby in some way, but we're not coming out to the street. The filthy masses are not going to have anything to do with our kid. So then they show up, and there's Meghan in her white dress with Harry, and he's holding this completely still baby.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth.
Either Archie or Lily, and it needs to happen. They need to prove that those children, Meghan and Harry, are not entitled to privacy in this matter. And their privacy is trumped by our right to know that no bastard is going to...
And if Harry and Meghan right now are earning their own money, that well is drying up. You've got to take the ability for them to damage the royal family in the future away, and you've got to do that.
No announcement preceded it, and no credit was claimed after. The arrangement existed not because protocol required it, but because she decided it should. That is what institutional values look like when they are lived rather than performed, not a campaign. No statement of allyship posted to a website. A seating arrangement made in private by a woman who understood that the gesture only counts when no one is watching. William, Catherine, Edward and Sophie are not filling a gap the Sussexes left. The institution does not experience gaps. It recalibrates. What the public is watching now is a working royal family that has stopped explaining itself and started demonstrating. They went viral without trying. The public responded without being asked. The story of what that institution is becoming does not require the Sussex brand to complete it. Meghan and Harry are not running out of time. They ran out of options, and time is simply what follows. Every door that has closed, Spotify, Netflix, the palace, the public, has closed without a statement. The institution does not need to announce its position. Silence is the position. The financial pressure and the reputational arithmetic are now pointing at the same conclusion. When it arrives, it will not look like a decision. It will look like it was always inevitable. The next video takes apart exactly what the Sussex brand has left to sell, and what happens when even that runs out.